This is Dr. Mark Trexler with the Climate Countdown, providing you with insights into some of the key questions and risks associated with our one-way planetary experiment known as global warming. Today's topic, the future of carbon offsets. In 1988, energy entrepreneur Roger Sant created AES, an energy company planning to build small coal-fired power plants around the United States. Sant was concerned about climate change, but AES couldn't make natural gas or renewable energy projects pencil out. Remember that the economics of these energy sources were very different in 1988. Sant approached the World Resources Institute in Washington, D.C. to come up with a global warming mitigation strategy for AES. The result was the first carbon offsets. Greenhouse gas emissions disperse rapidly into the atmosphere and around the world. From a global warming standpoint, it doesn't matter where on the planet greenhouse gases are emitted or removed. Carbon offsets leverage that fact. To remove and sequester the carbon dioxide from the stack of an AES coal-fired power plant, for example, would have cost hundreds of dollars per ton. But what if AES could pay someone else, anywhere in the world, to avoid emitting a ton of CO2 they would have otherwise emitted, or to remove a ton of CO2 from the atmosphere that otherwise would have remained there? It would cost much less, but the economics aren't the only thing that caused rapid growth in the use of carbon offsets. Co-benefits have also been a big factor. Removing and storing a ton of CO2 from a power plant, for example, would have no social or environmental co-benefits. Carbon offset projects focused on tropical forest conservation, on efficient cook stoves, on energy efficiency, or on promoting renewable energy in developing countries promised enormous social and environmental co-benefits. In the decade since that first project, maybe you've offset your household energy use or plane trip. Maybe your credit card company offsets everything you buy with your credit card. Or perhaps you've bought Stonyfield Yogurt, which was the first company to use offsets to become carbon neutral back in 1996. Offsets are everywhere, and a whole industry exists to create and promote them. But offsets have also been hugely controversial for years, something we'll explore in another Climate Countdown. Today, as the pressures to do something about climate change surge to new heights, we face a big fork in the road when it comes to the future of carbon offsets. One fork involves massively expanding the use of carbon offsets, literally from tens of millions to billions of tons, in order to more aggressively tackle global warming. This idea, prompted by global policymakers' failure to adequately act against global warming, suggests that financial markets and the world's business community need to step up and take charge. The other fork, however, suggests getting rid of offsets altogether. Its proponents argue that offsets have turned into a massive greenwashing exercise with little, if any, climate change mitigation benefit, and in fact are harming climate change mitigation by excusing inaction and delay on needed climate policy. It's hard to imagine a larger rhetorical gap than the one that exists between these two camps, both claiming to be representing the interests of mitigating climate change. Sadly, offsets are not the only arena where this kind of gap exists. Renewables, nuclear energy, and climate geoengineering are other examples where all sides claim the moral high ground. My takeaway is that we desperately need to engage in evidence-based conversations aimed at closing the rhetorical gaps and actually making progress on global warming. This is Mark Trexler with the Climate Countdown. Dig deeper into this and other Climate Countdown topics at our website, climatecountdown.climatesites.net. And thanks for listening.